I want to say thank you to Dancho, because like that photo on his slide, it's my ugliest photo on presentations ever. But okay, it was still the morning. So before we get into the presentation and everything, I think maybe we can just stand up for a bit. Can I ask you to stand up? Come on, come on. Okay. You're all standing up? Yes. And there is, yeah, except for the audio and video guys, there are two people actually sitting. One is Gertie, and one is the girl at the back. And it is related to something that I want to start with. We live in somebody else's world. Everything that we know and everything that we go through, every principle that we respect in our life is something that somebody else came up with, somebody else created. And most of the people are living this way. I told you to stand up, and only like these two people actually, say, why would I stand? I'm a rebel. I can sit down no matter what Nemanja says. So you're free to sit now. I'm starting with this to make you aware of the simple thing, because I'm talking about B2B marketing, B2B tech. Usually people don't understand this, so I'm trying to get a couple of examples to make you understand some of the things. So, do you know who this is? Great. So, David Bowie is somebody who was a musician, an actor, a producer, a lot of things, and somebody who was a counter-influencer in the 70s and above. What does it mean? It means that he was trying to do things on his own and do things a little bit differently. Specifically, you probably know the song Starman. There's a starman waiting in the sky. And at that time, everybody were thinking, the whole atmosphere in the society was people were afraid of the aliens, right? We were going on the moon, and the only association we had with aliens was they're going to come, the little gray ones will come and slay us all. But David Bowie was somebody who was talking with his audience, and he told to the William Burroughs, the writer, the secret of how he actually writes his songs. So from the first album, he was communicating with his audience, which was mostly the younger people, because he had different perspective. He wanted to not just create the music, but to change the world around him. So they were writing to him, these are the lyrics, maybe you can do it in a different way. These are some words that you can use that are a little bit different. So he uses those things in his next album, so learning from his customers, right, to make some things better. And Stardust, Ziggy and the Stardust, and the whole album around Starman are creating a little bit different way, giving different perspective when somebody who is sent from the aliens is actually reaching out to a person listening to the radio and telling him that he needs to let the children play, let the children use it, let the children boogie, let the children rock and roll. So to let it all out so the children can actually start and do some things differently and start the revolution which is needed in the world in that time. Singer of The Cure, the band says that when he was listening to David Bowie on, what was Top of the Pops or something like that, the famous show when he was wearing, the color on his face, just like this one, dressed in all green as an alien, and saying to the camera, I'm talking to you. He said, I realized that is exactly what he was doing, telling to me, and it affected the way I was creating the music. You all now know The Cure. And one thing he did, he actually get to know his audience, his customers, and play to that role. And this is something not many people do. He actually listened to the Pasha, to the first lecture today. So this is the state of the MarTech and the number of B2B tech products that is out there. It's not like zero and ones is the actual number of companies. And they are all, like, not all, but 90% of them are doing exactly what we all did. They stand up because everybody else did. Somebody told them to do so. But how can you actually do something differently? And how can you stand up in a market by creating demand? And get yourself a little bit of funk along the way. This is what we're talking today. So, as you already know, my name is Nemanja Živković. I'm the CEO of Funky Marketing. We do things a little bit differently with a little bit of funk, as James Brown said. And we basically merge research and strategy with creatives to help B2B companies create demand the way B2B customers buy today, which is a lot different than what it was just a couple of years ago. So let's break down those things. B2B companies, they know how to sell, they know how to do sales, but they cannot figure out the marketing. So they think that they have sales problem. And what do? If you know that you know this, probably that's the problem. So what do? You go and you try to solve that problem. Let's go and let's dance. They invest in sales training. They hire more SDRs. They hire the new CRO, Chief Revenue Officer. They do everything they can to fix the sales part. The part which is not broken. The part which is working very well. Dancho explained to you how you can do it the right way. But then, they fail again and again and again. It seems like it's never ending. But let's see what actually happens. Sales is not broken. Buyers are buying differently today, and they need marketing to help them on their journey. And third thing that is happening is that marketing is not doing the real marketing. Marketing is doing something that we call digital sales, trying to get leads and trying to get people who are not interested in buying today. I mean, just think what's happening. Not many companies actually stop and think. There's a better way to do things that solves this problem that are caused by outdated thinking and rules of how to do it. A lot of people in sales and marketing, those are in charge, are here for a long time. They've been taught in a different way. We were buying differently back in the days. We were going to Google and everything was happening on Google. Now when we get to Google, it's already too late. So, usually when I talk to the companies, they say, what are you, like, nuts? What are you telling to me that we don't do our job the way we should do when it's like we are doing it for 20 years? So let's see what they can actually do. Marketing in those companies means going to the trade show booths, doing account-based marketing, organizing events with customers, usually it's webinars, when they are trying just to sell them, nothing else, and big sales meetings with subject matter experts. So marketing here is just to support the sales, not to actually do anything differently. So your sales is actually spending time trying to opt in people not interested to buy right now, as opposed to talking to those that are already interested to buy. There's a huge difference. The first part is the thing that Dancho explained to you just a little bit earlier, how to talk to the people that don't want to talk to you at the moment, but are potential customers. And marketing job is something completely different. So what do B2B companies need to do? They don't need to invest in more salespeople, and they do not need to invest in more sales training. They need to change the person that your sales reps are talking to. You need somebody in the middle who is subject matter expert, who can actually tell the story, who can get the insights, and who can create a relationship with those people. So, getting people ready to buy should be the primary objective. It don't need to be with a whiskey, but it can be. You know, all depends how are we getting there. I always like to start with imagining that there's a buying outlet on a website, and your goal is to make someone go there and click buy now. As simple as that. So when they come to the website, they are ready to convert. They are ready to click and say buy now. They don't come to the website to do the research and to do some additional things. They come to learn, and you need to give them all the information before this thing happens. So, a real marketing actually makes a shift in the mindset, as David Bowie did. Tell me more. If B2B companies want to enlarge the number of conversions and interactions with people who have the buying intent, what should they do? Anybody? No? Need to figure out how to create the demand. The demand is actually desires in hearts and mind of the customers. So when they are in the stage to buy, you are the top of mind and you are the first one they think of. So they are only basically capturing demand. Capturing demand means that buyers that are already indicated. They are solution aware, they are in the market to buy something which makes them a very small percentage of the total available market. Those are people that come to Google. And there's a stat that says, by LinkedIn B2B Research Institute, that says that 95% of the B2B buyers aren't in the market to buy right now. So think how often would a factory buy a huge machine? That's B2B. So it's happening once in 5 years. Those things are expensive, and we need time to go until we buy the next one. So majority of time we are not in the market to buy, or we already have somebody that provides that to us. So I think the volume of people you're getting over Google is even less than 1% of the entire market. And it's a little bit too small, right? Usually, that 1% can mean that your business is making millions. So don't mistake that. 1% can be huge, but for the majority of companies, it's not. And they need to create demand to get people who are actually, interested. You need to go up the chain and figure out what's driving that person to go to Google and search. We need to go before the intent. So what's happening? Today, we are spending more time on social media than we are actually doing our job, like communicating with our peers. We are going into communities doing exactly the same things when there are people that we trust. We go to the third-party events just like this one. We have direct word of mouth coming from our peers. So I may not work with you, with any of you, but you may refer me to somebody else because you hear me speak here. They go to content platforms like Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, and they listen to the podcast when we can get in-depth about topics and create and learn specific things. I have Funky Marketing Show podcast. If you want to learn more about these things, I recommend you go and listen to it. So this is where B2B buyers actually spend time every day. They consume information to learn. They spend time hanging out with their peers. They decide what business priorities they want to solve just by chatting with people and getting their experience. They take people on board, meaning they see one piece of content like a small part of the podcast or a photo or a visual, the infographic. They share it inside the company Slack of your potential customer, and you may never know that. But it is over there, and it happens, and this one thing helps them get on board and get to the decision makers. So today it's called the dark funnel. Some things that are happening outside of it, and you cannot control it, at least what B2B companies think. So facilitation of this buying process is where the action is and what marketing actually should do. So let's see how we can actually catch the attention that needs to be able to inform, educate, and create a desire for what they sell. There is one thing that B2B companies do, and it is not neither one of these three things. So they usually go and they invest in Google Ads, in advertising, and that's where they spend the majority of the budget. Those are that 1%. This is how they close that. So what they need to actually do is have a deep understanding of the people you are talking to. So doing customer research, talking to the people. Before I started Funky Marketing, I was in B2C for 10 years, and I had no idea about B2B. But I had around 9,000 followers on LinkedIn, 9,000 connections actually, and I had like 260, 70 virtual coffees with those people, and I saw the pattern that's repeating, and it says that there's a gap in B2B that I can fill in with what I know from B2C, because it's starting to be more human, less mystic, with more emotions. Until that, people in B2C, like 3 years ago, they were thinking about, their account that they are going to target as a building, like literally the building, not like a group of people inside the buying committee in that account that they need to communicate to actually sell them something. You need to have a subject matter expertise who can deliver the message properly. Meaning you need to have somebody in the company that they trust. That's why now the companies, for example, like if you go into procurement, somebody who was head of procurement in a company and doing things in Excel and came up with a software that actually is a next step from those Excel files, Excel sheets, can get an investment because he is the subject matter expert. He knows how to communicate these things. He knows the problem and can make actually the topic closer to the target audience. Also, that needs to be the person that knows how to tell the company's story. So those things are extremely important. And the third one is to have a POV, point of view, that people care about. You know what it is because you understand your customers very well. Remember David Bowie. He had a totally different perspective on it because he was talking with youth. He knows what they want to do. He knows them. He's communicating with them, so that's why he has a totally different message that allows him to start sort of a revolution in the music. And those things are extremely important. Like, it's very hard to get a point of view that is different from what everybody else is talking and doing. B2B companies basically need funk. And I define funk as, this is the definition from Google, but I take just one last sentence, and it is something that makes you want to move your body more and groove. And it's activation. Through the facilitation of the buying process, we need to activate those people to come to our website and convert, meaning click, I want to talk to sales. That's the first time when they click, I want to talk to sales, when sales actually needs to, to have a conversation with them. Not before that. How can we actually measure all those things? Not with MQLs. That's not what B2B companies should go for. Not website visits. All the metrics that companies now use to score the success of marketing, push marketing in direction when we cannot actually do everything that I'm talking with you right now. So meaning they cannot win the way B2B customers want them to win right now. How can you measure those things? I usually like to measure it in two different ways. One is to capture demand. One is the way we are creating demand. The way we are capturing demand is usually G-Analytics, Google Search Console, it's HubSpot or any other CRM that you are using, and it's giving you information. You probably already all know that. Organic, referrals, direct traffic, organic search, but you don't know what is under direct traffic. You don't know what happened on LinkedIn and when they come to the website. So you only know that they are coming from LinkedIn. On the other hand, creating demand is something that is totally different. It's called self-reported attribution, and it shows you that people are giving you the answers what actually happened. Meaning, they're coming from Facebook, they're coming from Google, or they're coming from LinkedIn, from word of mouth. They're actually giving you a lot of information. I'll show you how, but this is how you separate these two. Start first with measuring how you close the demand, and then if you need more demand, if you need more than 1%, start creating demand. Basically, you need to ask one simple question on a website, and it is, how did you hear about us? I usually ask another one, why would you like to work with us? These are some of the answers that we got, people leaving us when they schedule a call with us. How do you hear about us? Through Nemanja's LinkedIn, Guess how? LinkedIn, from our marketing advisor, from user guiding, which is one of our clients. Clever Profit, I don't know the company. Nemanja's LinkedIn post, I got Nemanja.LinkedIn. Pep Laya recommended you. Nemanja jumps out of Pate on LinkedIn. You know, those kind of things. Then why would you like to work with us? That's also something where if people are coming from Google, so you're only closing demand, you won't get much out of it. Because they don't know. They will say, I'm soon to find out, or I found you on Google, it seems relevant, or those kind of things. But if they already know you and they are coming from creation of demand, so they say reputation in the workplace. We like your vision, we want an end-to-end review of our marketing strategy and help with implementation. We love the innovative approach to marketing and special on one that sets you apart from other agencies. We had like your go-to-market strategy and thesis seems interesting, not like the boring that's happening all around the manufacturing industry. Like those kind of things, they're actually writing a chunk of text when they are scheduling the call. Usually people say, but who would bother to do that? People bother when you create demand and they want to work with you. So, did we actually achieve something by creating demand? Funky Marketing is 2.5 years old, maybe a little bit more. In January is the 3rd anniversary. So basically we closed 69 deals in around 2.5 years, out of which 47 in the first 18 months. Then we switched to scale up, so that's why it's less. All of them came inbound via LinkedIn, via podcast, Funky Marketing Show, or word of mouth from our peers, current and past clients. And what is some of the time that this needs to happen? Something that Darko asked me the last time and I didn't remember to say that. Roughly in like 3 months, things should start happening. And deals that are coming through demand creation channels should close at 25%. And that percent should go up, which is a lot more than outreach and other things that, that right now marketing is using. Instead of marketing actually coming up with MQLs and people don't want to buy from you, sales can actually buy a list and do the outreach for them. On the other hand, marketing can create demand, can create the brand in time, and also in these times when everything is, we are going into crisis. On one hand, we have things that we must buy. On the other hand, we have things that are nice to have, right? Things that we must have, that's a category. That's like basic things that you need to live. From a business perspective, those are the basic things that you need your business to go. On the other hand, we have things that are nice to have. This is brand. This is something that we would like to have, but maybe we don't need to right now if we don't have the money for it. You want to be at these times to create demand and be in a category design fight when you are actually doing your own thing and not depending on, on nice to have things. So, to change the world, you actually need to reject the premise. So this is the game of thinking, and your job is to change the way customers think and move them from the old way to a different way. Like, what lenses are looking the world through? Ask yourself, do I look at the lenses from the world from the lenses that somebody else gave me, Or I'm doing things on my own, in my own way, and creating things the way I want it to be. Like Christopher Lockhead, one of the legends of category design. I recommend you listen to his podcast as well. Content is more important than the content. Meaning, if you start with the way things are and you try to change it, you're competing in the game somebody else has already created. So in somebody else's game, you can win in that game, but he's already getting 70% of everything. You're fighting for the 30% with the rest of the world. But if you start the way it might be, you are starting a new game with the rules that you invented, your own rules. So what's more interesting? It's more interesting to play on your rules and win in your own game, on your own way. You can do it too. I always said that when somebody else is doing things the same way, when they're catching up with you, you change. Zig when everybody else is zagging. Guys, I hope that you managed to understand the problems and the things that marketing in B2B companies is facing. If you want to continue the conversation, you can find Funky Marketing Show. You can find me on LinkedIn or other social media. Let's connect and let's continue the conversation. Thanks.